1937, over a period of 6 weeks, Imperial Japanese Army forces brutally murdered hundreds of thousands of people, including both soldiers and civilians. In the Chinese city of Nanking, the horrific events are known as the Nanking Massacre, or the Rape of Nanking, as between 20,000 and 80,000 women were sexually assaulted. Nanking, the capital of nationalist China, was left in ruins, and it would take decades for the city and its citizens to recover from the savage attacks. Following a bloody victory in Shanghai during the Sino-Japanese War, the Japanese turned their attention towards Nanking. Fearful of losing them in battle, nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek ordered the removal of nearly all official Chinese troops from the city, leaving it defended by untrained auxiliary troops. Chiang also ordered the city be held at any cost and forbade the official evacuations of its citizens. Many ignored this order and fled, but the rest were left to the mercy of their approaching enemy. A small group of Western businessmen and missionaries, the International Committee for the Nanking Safety Zone, attempted to set up a neutral area of the city that would provide refuge for the Nanking citizens. The safety zone opened up in November 1937, was roughly the size of New York Central Park and consisted of more than a dozen small refugee camps. On December 1st, the Chinese government abandoned Nanking, leaving the International Committee in charge. All remaining citizens were ordered into the safety zones for their protection. On December 13th, the first troops of Japan's Central China Front Army, commanded by General Masui Iwani, entered the city. Even before their arrival, word had begun spreading of numerous atrocities that had committed on their way through China, including killing contests and pillaging. Chinese soldiers were hunted down and killed by the thousands and left in massive graves. Entire families were massacred. Even the elderly and infants were targeted for execution, while tens of thousands of women were raped. Bodies littered the streets for the next months after the attack. Determined to destroy the city, the Japanese looted and burned at least 1/3 of Nanking's buildings. Though the Japanese initially agreed to respect the Nanking safety zone, ultimately, not even those refugees were safe from the vicious attacks. In January 1938, the Japanese declared that the order had been restored in the city and dismantled the safety zones. Killing continued until the first week of February. A puppet government was installed, which would rule Nanking until the end of World War II. There are no official numbers for the death toll in the Nanking Massacre, though estimated ranges from 200,000 to 300,000 people. Soon after the end of the war, Matsui and his lieutenant Tani Hisao were tried and convicted for war crimes by the International Military Tribunal for the Far East and were executed. Anger over the events at Nanking continued to color Sino-Japanese relations to this day. The true nature of the massacre has been disputed and exploited for propaganda purposes by historical revisionists, apologists, and Japanese nationalists. Some claim the numbers of death have been inflated, while others have denied that the massacre ever even occurred.